Hi everybody, it's Linda. Welcome back to Tips for You. Well, it's cold and flu season again, and I want to share with you in this video the absolute best remedies to help heal you, to help shorten the duration of your cold, and to help relieve symptoms. These remedies are natural. They are tried and true. I have used them personally for years with my family and myself whenever we've gotten sick. And they really work. And I want to share them with you today because I want to help you. I want you to get well quicker. I want you to heal. And I want you to work in harmony with your own body's immune system, which is what these remedies do. So I broke this video up into two parts. The first part, I'm going to show you what I have. It's going to be things that you can take to feel better and to heal. And then the second part is going to be things that you can do to feel better, to relieve your symptoms, and to help your cold or flu go away faster. And this includes stomach bugs and things like that too. I have things for that as well. And then I'm going to just share with you some preventative measures that you can take, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, as they say. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to list everything so that you have it handy. And it'll be easy for you to check back to. And I'm also going to group it by like ailments, if you're suffering from a cold or a flu, what you can go to. And some of the things I'm going to recommend you might have heard of, obviously, and then other things you may not. And also I may have done a dedicated video on some of the things I'm going to recommend, and I'll refer that in the description box below, in the cards, and I will link all the products that I talk about below so that you can have them convenient to look at if you need to. So it'll all be there for you, okay? You want to save this video to your favorites or to your playlist, because this is going to be a great reference for you whenever anything happens in your family or to yourself where you need a remedy. Alrighty, so let's get started, and I'm going to start off with things that you can take to feel better, to heal, and to shorten your illness. The very first one that I want to tell you about that no home should be without, a lot of these things I think everybody should have in their home, but this first one is black elderberry. This is elderberry extract, and you can also buy elderberry syrup, and I also have elderberry tea. I use that as well. Elderberry is an amazing immune booster. If you take elderberry within 48 hours of getting sick or getting the flu, you can shorten the duration of a flu by 4 days. Elderberry has been around. Actually, they've done studies and they have found that it has been around since prehistoric man. It is an amazing healer. It's a fever reducer. It contains a chemical called anthocyanins, very powerful for immune boosting and for healing. You'll want to take it a few times a day, so like 3 times a day, either you're having your elderberry tea or you're going to put a dropper full. You can read the label, it'll tell you, put a dropper full into a small amount of water and drink it down. The name of it is called Sambucus nigra, if you're ever looking for it in the store. So it's black elderberry. It's fantastic. Been using it for years, would never go into a cold season without it. I buy it for my children, make sure they have it. If you buy the syrup, read the bottle. It might tell you to keep it in the refrigerator, which is the best place to keep it, but you don't have to do that with the extract. Okay? The next thing I want to recommend to you is garlic. I just did a video on the amazing miracle of garlic. Garlic is an antimicrobial, an antifungal, an antiviral. It is an immune booster. It works in harmony with your gut flora. It is a must if you're getting sick. I have a wonderful tea that I make whenever anyone is sick in my home or for myself. And you just basically crush a clove of raw garlic in it, and it is really something. I will link the video below for you. Take a look at it. You'll want to have your garlic raw if you can. Just crush it and mix it in with whatever you're eating. I like to mix it in with yogurt and have it on crackers or put it in the tea, and it will help you knock out anything that's gone wrong. I have a video also about putting a garlic clove with olive oil into your ear. There is nothing better for an earache. I'm telling you, you have to try that if you haven't yet, anytime your ears hurt. Garlic is wonderful. The next thing you should have, ginger, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It's wonderful for nausea, for stomach problems, heartburn, congestion, colds, fevers. If you ever have had a bout with heartburn or nausea, you've got to try ginger. Either you can have ginger tea, which I always have on hand, ginger tea, or buy the fresh rhizome. Break off a little piece, peel it, wash it, and put it right in your mouth. If you can tolerate it, it is spicy. Even the smallest piece, just chew it up and swallow it. I guarantee you that your heartburn will be gone. I don't care how long you've had it. Your heartburn will be gone in 10 to 15 minutes. That's how fast it works. And if you want to put some in that healing tea, that concoction that I make, that remedy, that's a good place to put it. It is great and something that I always have in the house. Next, eucalyptus. I take the eucalyptus leaf tea. It is fantastic. It is a antimicrobial, an antiviral, an antibacterial. It helps heal your lung tissue. It helps open up your bronchial tubes. It helps you breathe. It is an absolutely wonderful remedy to have in your home. I also use it to make a special steam that helps heal the lungs and helps open your nasal passageways and disinfect and helps your sinuses. It's extremely healing. I'll link that video below. And you also, you combine the eucalyptus with ginkgo biloba as well as a chamomile tea bag. So you'll put 1 tea bag of each. You can see that video, and you put it in the pot and you have the steam, and it is amazing. Every time you get sick with any respiratory thing, I highly recommend drinking the eucalyptus tea as well as using it in the steam. People always ask me about the eucalyptus oil. I'm always a little hesitant about essential oils, so no, I don't use that. I use the teas, and I'm a big proponent of drinking and using the actual herbs rather than buying supplements and pills. I don't think they work as well. I like the fresh and natural stuff, and I like the teas. And plus, you need a lot of fluids when you're sick. So this is just another way for you to get your fluids, and of course they're more beneficial for you. Next, slippery elm bark. Slippery elm, if you're not familiar with it, is amazing. It is a mucilage, and what it does is your body can't digest it, so it coats. It'll coat your throat, it coats your intestinal tract. If you have any kind of horrible sore throat or you're suffering with anything with your stomach, you've got to have some slippery elm bark in your home. If you decide, it is an acquired taste. I mean, it doesn't have much of a taste. It tastes, I can't explain what it tastes like. It almost has a porridgey taste, like farina, kind of like that. It tastes like that. But if you don't want to just have the slippery elm, then buy one of the throat coats. The teas that are throat coat, they have slippery elm bark in it, as well as a bunch of other herbs that will help your throat. We literally have these in the house all the time. But slippery elm is just one. If you suffer from any kind of an intestinal problem, irritable bowel syndrome, anything like that, try the slippery elm bark. It is fantastic. I also wanted to mention that slippery elm bark is an excellent antitussive, meaning that it's great for coughs and for symptoms of other upper respiratory ailments like bronchitis or asthma. Next, marshmallow, leaf, and root. This is another mucilage type of remedy. So it coats. It's wonderful for coughs, for sore throats, and for stomach problems. Anytime I have felt stomach cramps, stomach problems in the past, I will make a cup of marshmallow leaf or root. It's leaf and root tea, and it is amazing. It seems to really just cure it. So this is another remedy like the slippery elm bark, but it's a tea, and sometimes you just prefer drinking something. It's soothing, it's very healing, and it does provide a soothing coating to inflamed tissues. So this is a great one to have in the home. And you should always have a cold and flu season tea. Anytime you have a cold, you just need a nice tea to have. This is a great one. Just the cold and flu season, I always have it at home. It's got a bunch of different herbs in it. It's got the eucalyptus, ginger, licorice, orange peel, valerian root, lemongrass, peppermint. All of these are going to help you heal the symptoms of a cold, and they really work. And here's a tip. Whenever you make your tea, always put honey and lemon in. Lemon is fantastic for soothing irritated membranes and sinuses. Honey has antibacterial properties. It helps heal. And as a matter of fact, always have some honey at home. I always prefer the raw honey. If you've got a sore throat or a cough, a dry cough, you can't get rid of it, you've lost your voice. This happens to me a lot. In the last 5 years, it's my thing. I lose my voice. Take a spoonful of honey. You don't have to swallow it all down like the song goes. You just sort of, eat off the spoon a little bit. And you would be surprised the relief you get from having a spoonful of honey. Honey is a natural hydrogen peroxide, so it kills germs as well as soothes. It's one of the most healing and beneficial foods there is out there. So get some raw honey. I'm going to link below the one I use and like. And have it in your home. Always put it in your teas. And don't forget about taking a spoonful of honey. It really is amazing. And no home should be without echinacea. Echinacea is a powerful immune booster. It actually increases your white blood cells that helps you fight infection. This one is a proven remedy, and it's especially helpful for your gastrointestinal tract and your stomach. I prefer the tea. People do take supplements. People suggest taking echinacea as a preventative. I do not. I don't believe in taking any of these things as a preventative. I will take them when I need them because I've read that you can actually become resistant to the benefits of having it. So if you feel yourself coming down with something, this is the first go-to place. Go to the echinacea, go to the elderberry. It's immune boosting, it's anti-inflammatory, it works. And another tried and true remedy is peppermint tea. It is a wonderful remedy if you've got stomach problems or cramping. It relaxes the smooth muscles. It also it helps open up your nasal passages, very similar to eucalyptus as well. But I still prefer the eucalyptus for that. But the peppermint is very soothing, and if we have issues with stomach cramping, this is a great one. It does relax the stomach. It makes you feel better right away. Now the next several things I'm going to recommend are food related, and they really work. The first one's pineapple. Pineapple has an enzyme called bromelain in it. The moment you feel anything in your stomach, take some pineapple. It literally kills off the bacteria. It's great if you have irritable bowel syndrome. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps thin mucus, reduce inflammation and swelling. Pineapple is fantastic. If you haven't tried my morning smoothie, which you can have any time of the day, I'll link it below, but I use pineapple in that. I have literally pineapple every day. It's one of the absolute healthiest things that you can have in your diet, but it's especially healthy when you're sick. My daughter just wasn't feeling well last week. Her stomach was bothering her. She didn't know if it was something she ate or was she getting sick. I cut up a fresh pineapple. I gave her some in a bowl with a little yogurt. Half an hour later, she turned to me and she says, "I can't believe it." She says, "I feel like 100% better." And she did. Pineapple is amazing. If you haven't tried it, you need to try pineapple. Another thing you want to have when you're sick, mushrooms. Mushrooms are tremendous immune boosters. They activate the killer cells in your body to kill colds and flus. If you're making soup for yourself, put some mushrooms in. I almost feel like I crave them when I'm sick now because I feel like my body wants them. And also, grapes. Grapes are loaded with vitamin A and vitamin C, and they have resveratrol in them. It's contained in the skin of the grapes. Grapes will actually stop the spread of virus. So if you've got the flu and you eat grapes, grapes will help stop that virus from multiplying and taking over in your body. They've actually done studies where they have collected like flu viruses in a petri dish and put, resveratrol from grapes into the petri dish, and it literally stops the virus, the flu virus, from replicating, which is what it's going to do in your body. There is so much you can do with food. Food is medicine. It is given to us by this earth to heal us, to feed us. It is amazing if you know which ones to reach for when you're sick. Grapes are a powerful anti-inflammatory. I love having grapes when I'm sick. I feel like I told you I crave these things when I'm sick. It's like my body kind of knows. And I mentioned smoothies. They can be very helpful when you're sick. You can get extra vitamin C that way. It can be very cooling if you use some frozen fruit. Helps your throat if you're not feeling well, if you're not hungry. It's a way to get extra nutrition. Don't forget about the vitamin C. I don't say take vitamin C, but oranges are wonderful. They're plentiful in the wintertime. You can have those if you're not feeling well. And then, have some ice pops around. They really help. And the froze fruit pops are really good, and you can put them to the back of your throat, and it really just cools everything down. And finally, I want to mention the last thing that I have for you that you can take is chicken soup or bone broth, loaded with healing properties for your gut, for your stomach. It's anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It is antiviral. It is soothing. It helps you feel better when you take it. Homemade is best. Whip some up when you're feeling fine, put it in the freezer, and then if you're sick, you pull it out. That's what I do. And if you don't have any homemade soup at hand, you can just buy a couple of chicken cutlets and throw them in the water, boil them. You can use the Lipton and add some crushed garlic, parsley, mushrooms. Throw all those healing things into your soup. Sprinkle a little turmeric in there. It's full of antioxidants, and you'll feel so much better. Fluids. That's the most important thing when you're sick. You've got to stay hydrated, especially if you have a fever. And a quick word about fevers. Fevers are your body's way of fighting your infection, okay? Viruses that we get actually live in the normal body temperature level. That's what they like best. So what does your body do to fight? It raises your body temperature. Fevers are a good thing. It means your body's fighting. It's producing more white blood cells. It's sending cells to the areas that need to heal. You don't want to suppress your fever, but pay attention to your fever, because a fever is a good indicator that's what's going on with you. Viruses don't typically have very high fevers. If your fever is getting around 103, you might want to think about what's going on with you. You might have something more serious. Both times that one of my family members, my daughter, had pneumonia, and my husband had cellulitis, and they had, and Lyme disease. My husband had Lyme disease years ago. He had 104 fever that would not go down. They didn't even know what he had. We were like in the emergency room in Florida, and they just did not even know, but it was Lyme disease. And my daughter had pneumonia, and she had a very high fever that would not go down. If you need to reduce your fever, tepid baths help. Just, you don't want it cold, you don't want to shock your body, but you can lower your fever by going into the tub and having it kind of, lukewarm, and it'll lower your body temperature. Don't go into a hot bath. Even though it feels good, it'll just raise your temperature, and you don't want to do that. Let your body do what it needs to do. You don't want it, to go crazy. You just want it to be whatever it needs to be. And if you have any kind of health issue where you should not have a fever, well, then you're in a special case, and you need to do what your doctor tells you to do about that. I'm talking about somebody who has no risk factors for letting a fever happen. Fevers can be helpful. And now I want to share with you some things that you can do if you're not feeling well to help ease your symptoms as well as to help you heal faster. And I already mentioned the garlic in your ear. If you're suffering with any kind of an ear pain, that's very helpful. I'll link that below. Second thing I want to say is that you should irrigate your nose. Irrigation, I have a video on that as well. Irrigating your nose is simply using a solution a quarter of a teaspoon of salt to a cup of water, and you let it run in one side of your nostril and out the other. It washes out your sinuses. It helps kill bacteria. It prevents sinus infections. It's a wonderful thing. It helps bring out the mucus. It's very helpful. Also, gargling with salt water. You just put a half a teaspoon of salt in a cup of water, and very warm water, and you gargle with it. You feel so much better, and it actually will help kill the germs and the virus, and it draws out the bacteria out of your throat. It just draws it right out. It is a wonderful thing. Do it several times a day. I'm thinking like 3 times a day at least. It is a very big healer. I already mentioned the steam treatment, so important. If you have any kind of respiratory problem, cold, sinuses, it even feels good on your face, it's a really big healer. I link that below too. So you'll want to do the steam treatment that I recommend with the tea bags. If you don't have the tea bags, don't worry about it. Do the water, and make sure you use a big pot. Don't sit over a small pot. You really want a big pot, and keep your face away from it. Don't burn your face. And you also want to use a vaporizer in your home when you're sick, a cool mist vaporizer. They're very helpful when you're sleeping, with the dry heat. It really makes everything worse. You want those mucous membranes to stay moist, and it will help you if you have a cough. Another thing I want to recommend is Vicks Vapor Rub. It's really helpful if you have one of those postnasal drip coughs or congestion. You just rub some on your throat, on your chest, and it really helps you sleep. If you're, suffering with a problem cough or postnasal drip, elevate your head at night, put the Vicks Vapor Rub on, have the cool mist vaporizer going, and you really will heal faster because your mucous membranes won't dry out, and you'll be able to breathe when you're sleeping. It's one of the best remedies, and never put it up your nostrils. I hope you know that. You're never supposed to do that. It's associated with some type of pneumonia. You never want to do that. If you have painful swollen glands, what you can do to really help is use castor oil on them. Rubbing castor oil, you can use castor oil compresses, putting it on your skin with something warm. In fact, warm compresses when you're sick is one of the best things for hurting glands and throat and painful sinuses. Warm compresses. Don't forget about the simple things that we don't even think of, but it really feels good. Put it near your ears if your ears are bothering you. It brings blood to the area, circulation. It helps calm things. It makes you feel better. It's really an excellent remedy. And remember, patience, please stay home when you're sick. Rest. You need plenty of it, and lots of fluids. You need fluids for your fever, fluids for your mucus because your body's producing a lot of it. Don't push yourself. Don't grind it out. Try to go to work. You'll make everybody else sick, and guess what? You could make yourself worse because you're in a situation where your body's trying to fight something. So it's weakened, and it's got to build, and it's got to be strong, and you don't want the first little bug that's coming along that you get worse. So that's how people get bronchitis on top of a basic cold. They wonder, oh gosh, how did I get so sick? Well, you didn't take care of yourself when it started. Sometimes that's the reason. And you've got to, your body got sick for a reason. You were probably run down. You could have been tired, lacking in sleep. There were just germs right in your face. Whatever the reason, it's a time for you to slow down, pay attention to yourself. The more you do, the faster you get well, and your body comes out of it stronger, and your immunity will be better. You don't want to run yourself down. Okay, I think that the mentality that used to be where you just, work through it, now we can stay at home and work where we've got networks and computers. There's no excuse to go in if you're really not feeling well. The other folks in the office, they don't want you there because they don't want to get sick and ruin, weeks of their time. And the business doesn't want to lose workers, tons of workers. They'd rather just have one stay home instead of an epidemic of losing a dozen. So, stay home and take care of yourself. Really, that's the absolute best thing, and you'll get well so much faster. Make yourself a priority when you're sick. And now I want to share with you some ways that you can prevent getting sick. Like I said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Sometimes you can't help it because it's just in the air, but if you see someone that's coughing, they say the droplets from a cough is most likely what gets everyone sick. They travel 50 feet, apparently. So stay away from somebody coughing, and if they're being rude, I can't tell you how many times I'm at the gym and somebody's right next to me just coughing out into the open. They clearly shouldn't even be there, and I will literally get off my equipment and just go someplace else because I don't want to get sick. Just do that. If you're sitting on a train and somebody across from you is coughing, you have a high likelihood that you're going to get what they have. So, move your seat if you can, because that is a way to prevent getting sick, as is staying away from people that are sneezing. Anytime those droplets go in the air, it is the easiest possible way to get sick. The second easiest is to actually transmit it to yourself. So, be careful what you touch, and wash your hands before you touch your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Keep your hands out of your face. I can't tell you how many people I see rubbing their eyes with their hands that are dirty and they're all over the place, or they're in public, or they're in the supermarket, rubbing their face. I'm always telling my husband to get his hands out of his face. He's all over the equipment, working out in the gym, and then he starts rubbing his face. I said, you're gonna catch something, because viruses can easily live on moist surfaces. People are going in and out, and it's an easy way to get sick. Doctor once told me when my son was small, is if everybody would just wash their hands before they ate and brushed behind their nails, they would probably prevent so many intestinal problems, including parasites. So keep that in mind, and always wash your hands and scrub behind your fingernails, ladies, if you've got long nails. Men, you should do it too, because whatever you handle, you ingest. So it's really important to do that. And stay hydrated. Drinking enough liquids will help keep your mucous membranes from drying out. Your mucous membranes are what's going to help prevent you from getting sick. If you remember when little children are small, right, and they're crawling, they're like babies, they're always drooling and they have just a lot of liquid coming out of their mouth. Why? Because they put everything into their mouths, and their body is protecting them by giving them a lot of fluids so that they're making enough to wash away like bacteria and viruses, and it's a protecting factor. So drink a lot, and you'll feel much better too, because it's very dry in the winter. Try to get enough rest. As soon as you fall back on sleep, it seems that's when you get sick. So, stay up to date with your sleep, exercise regularly, but not to the point of exhaustion, because then you start depleting your body of its reserves. And if you're sick, do not exercise. Stay home and take care of yourself. I know the diehards like to get out there. I used to be one of them. I made myself worse. That's not what you do. Take care of yourself, especially if you have a fever. You don't belong in the gym. You should be home, taking a rest. A word about dieting. We're going into the holiday season, and so we all become very weight conscious. And then when the new year comes, after all the goodies we've eaten, we want to go on a diet. Well, just be careful. Do not go on a crash diet, because a crash diet will really deplete your immunity. If you want to lose weight, do it the slow and steady way. Patience is really rewarding. Cut back on your portion sizes, select whole natural foods, stay away from processed stuff, eat foods that'll keep you full a little bit longer, keep some regular exercise going to increase your metabolism, but don't deprive yourself and really cut those calories and restrict yourself, because it usually wipes you out and it does lead to getting ill. So eat at normal intervals, keep your energy up. It'll help you keep your stress levels down. You get very irritable if you are depriving yourself of nutrients that you need. A well-balanced diet, we are what we eat, and food is medicine, so you want to be sure that you use it to your best advantage. And the last thing that I want to tell you, and I hope I didn't forget anything, but I want to tell you to let fresh air into your home periodically in the wintertime. We're also very energy conscious, and that's great, but if you've got the same stale air in your home like for months, it's not very healthy. I keep plants in my home because they give off oxygen and they absorb toxic chemicals and things that might be in the air. But I also periodically open my windows, turn the fan on. I have a whole house fan. Yes, I know I'm wasting energy, but I don't do it long, just enough to let some fresh air in. I do that once in a while. And if I don't use the fan, I'll open a few windows. I want the fresh air circulating in my home. A lot of office buildings are so airtight and their systems are circulating the same air, and it's very easy for everyone to get ill. So fresh air is your friend. Get outside, breathe some fresh, clean air. It is one of the best things for you. I thought of one other thing, and that is to keep the heat in your home a little bit lower. Don't keep it too hot, especially when you sleep, because you don't want to dry out your mucous membranes. It's actually healthier for you to sleep in a cooler room. If you keep the house very warm, it literally sucks all the moisture out of you. So just keep that in mind. Wear a sweater in your home. You don't have to walk around in shorts in the wintertime. Keep it comfortable. If you're going to be sitting and watching TV, it doesn't matter what temperature you keep your house on, you're going to be chilly. Keep a blanket nearby. That's what we do. And cover yourself when you watch TV. You don't have to turn and crank the heat up. It makes you lethargic, it dries out your sinuses, it makes you feel worse, and it makes you more susceptible to getting sick. Well, that's it. I hope you found this video helpful. I wish you a very healthy cold and flu season, and I hope if you do get ill that you will reference this video and that it will help you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know. Stay tuned, because at the end of the video I'm going to list everything for you. So that you can have it when you need it. You might even want to screenshot it if you can. Alrighty, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, because I have a lot more to come. Something of interest to everyone. And please visit me at my blog spot where I do a lot of writing. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, so we can stay connected there as well. Okay, well, thanks so much for viewing. I really appreciate your time. Bye-bye now. Here is a quick recap of all my healing remedies that I mentioned in this video. And here's a reference for you of my healing remedies by ailment.